I think kind of something that feels silly now looking back, but definitely in the moment, like going to dinner alone was something that I never really wanted to do. I was fortunate enough to live in GA, so sometimes I would see people I knew in the common room when I was heading to dinner and I could go, but with them. But otherwise, it was kind of a hassle trying to like find people to go, or if I did go alone, feeling uncomfortable because I felt like everyone was watching me eat alone. No one's watching you eat alone, but in the moment, it felt like a big deal.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges coming to Duke was that when I got to campus, it was very difficult to make relationships with different people. And so you sort of had these friends for 18 years of my life, and it was difficult to start making these new relationships with people that I didn't know. I was the only one from my high school, and so I started having to look for the resources that Duke offers to help you build those first year friendships. So looking to my fac group or my dorm community to start, my roommates to start building those initial connections with people. Even though I think it is difficult and sometimes awkward to just walk up and put yourself out there to somebody new. I think that was something that I learned to overcome. And I think even still now, it's not like everybody on a campus as big as Duke. And so reminding yourself to, always put yourself out there, put yourself in uncomfortable new situations with different people, I think, makes the campus feel a bit smaller. And, like I said, sort of expands that social circle that you have. But definitely when you get to campus, one of the most difficult things and one of the most awkward things to do is just meeting new people.
People come into Duke expecting that they're going to have these very deep friendships right during orientation week. And part of the reason is because people have probably been with the same students from middle school, even elementary school, and all the way through high school. So you have a 4, 6, 8-year friendship that's been developed, and you're looking to emulate that right when you arrive on campus, which usually is not the case. And so I think the biggest issue for myself and many of my friends, most of my friends in fact, was that we tried to look for these relationships right off the bat, and they weren't falling into place. And so it felt like a big point of discomfort. But what we soon realized is that everyone's in the same boat, and it's not just you.
I grew up with my family being 30 minutes with driving distance of me, and so I was used to seeing my grandparents and cousins at least once a week. And so the distance from my family, because family's really important to me, was a huge change. I remember when my parents had to first drop me off during O week, I was kind of sad and lost. I felt like no one here really looked like me or knew me, so it was tough breaking out of my shell and meeting new people in my dorm.
Some of the challenges that I faced were definitely tied to loneliness, within the first few months. I think being thrown into orientation week was really challenging, especially being an introvert. So going to all these events and having to go up to people and make friends was not something that I was used to at all.
Students also really struggle with trying to find a community and make friends when they get here. There's so many different places that they could meet people, the places that they live, their classrooms, and sometimes students really struggle with culture shock. The campus, the students that they meet just really may not reflect their culture, and so they may need some extra support in finding their own communities.